we are going to assume that we have a store connected. The store has some products, and we are sort of trying to replicate what Gymshark has. A store does not have all Gymshark related products, but we've created a top level CLAUDE.md file which has some instructions about the brand being Gymshark. Now, this file also has other details like how the content needs to be handled, how the brand voice is, and some very critical components like whenever you're doing a write, you always must follow some guardrails, which are being written in our rules, which are basically the approval gates. So the folder structure has defined different types of files. So what we are going to do in this video is just, in our case, Claude is already connected with this Shopify store. So we'll run some commands and we'll see how some of these files are being used whenever we are running any command here. So for example, one of the things that's really important is that whenever we are doing any operation on our store, we want to make sure that no write operation writes back to the store just randomly, and it should not write like bad data. So we've put approval gate in our file where we are saying that any write that is affecting 11 plus item, just stop and ask me immediately. Any price that, if you're doing any price changes and so on, there are some use cases that we've defined, like anytime this happens, do not do that. So let's say if I go ahead and type in update title for 15 products. First of just this demo, I'm just going to use append Gymshark. So let's see. Ideally, what it should do is, like, if there was no MD file, if there's no approval gates in place, it would go ahead and just update that automatically. But because we have approval gates in place, it's saying it stopped us and it's asking a few things from us. 2 contradictions in that request need to resolve before I touch anything. Scope mismatch, 15 product versus every product, 21 active. Okay, my query was a little off. Per store context, every means I stop and ask, which is mentioned in our CLAUDE.md files. Which is it? A specific 15 or all 21? Which 15? If 15, how are they selected? Alphabetical creation order. So this is what we've defined in our MD files, is that it should ask us these questions before just randomly dumping a list of things or just picking by itself and operating on those randomly. Then what is going to be the append format? Let's say if I just say 15. Now, it still wouldn't proceed unless I am absolutely sure. It's 15, the store has 21 active, pick one, pick 15 by first, 15 by creation date, and confirm Gymshark is a literal, not a placeholder, reply with ABCD or any format. Okay, I say B. Only when I've confirmed that I want to do this and this, it is going to proceed. Now, let's see what it does. So it's done something interesting here. It's run a dry run, title append. So we have in our instructions that whenever you're doing any bulk operation, so if you notice this, like I have scope defined for where I want to see a dry run. There are some conditions that I've mentioned here, and every time one of these conditions is identified, it just stops and gives me a dry run before really going forward with it. So it's defined for any write affecting 2 to 10 items. So anything above more than 2, it's just going to stop. Any metafield creation, so there are some other items too. Stop and ask me explicitly, even if I seem impatient. This is just ensuring that I don't randomly just start going and producing some random results on the store. So that's why it is now asking, do I want to append? This is even though we added 2 to 10 there, because there was another rule which said for 11 plus also stop. So it's still doing a dry run. It's showing first 5 as a sample, that this is how the product will look like. So it's making sure that no operation goes through without us explicitly saying yes. There is one of the rules that we have in our approval gates is that every operation that we do on our Shopify store must write back in a write log.csv file. What this does is it just makes sure that any operation that happens from Claude, we have a log of that, because otherwise there's no way of knowing that an operation was completed and a product was updated, say 1,000 products were updated, like how do we know? So the write log will have all of that information. Competitor right because Gymshark is okay. So this is again like one of those things that is just making sure that we want to be sure, because Gymshark is a live trademark brand. Do we want to use that or not? In this case, obviously, this is a test store and we are not going to publish these products anymore, so anywhere, so it's okay. While it's naming convention, because in our MD files, we were using ingredients and functions. Like there were a bunch of things we have our in the store context file, and that's why it's trying to flag that as well. This is an app generated product, so it knows that why do you even care about adding Gymshark? Do you even want me to draw? So all of this does, yes, let's say yes to all. It'll take a few seconds, minutes probably. I'm curious to see where, when it writes the write log.csv, we'll take a look at that, how the log is coming along. Let's see. So if you notice that there is, for writing log, it needs obviously a piece of code to write. So, and we have these hooks that we're writing. We're invoking these hooks whenever certain operations are invoked. You could write these hooks to do different types of things with your Claude. For now, we're just doing that for logging. So it's saying that it's executing product date iterations in one batch call, and then it's just write succeeded, logging to write CSV. Okay, now it is going to write back. And if you notice, this has created a write CSV file, write log.csv. If I go and see it, obviously, like in this, it's not making sense what it is. But if I go ahead and copy paste this into a Google Sheet or Excel, it will show accurate operations. We could, like right now, it's just randomly logging the way we are wanting to log it using this, but you could make it in a much simpler and nicer way, how your internally team can use it in the future. So this was one case where you can, in case you're using Claude to wanting to write back to Shopify, this is how approval gates can really help you. There are certain other things that you could do which are much more simpler, like how many products it is. This is a test store. It will likely just say 0. Now, for something like this, it should not stop me anywhere. I mean, in terms of asking me for approvals, deny the approve and deny the request for more Claude driven. But this, it's automatically able to operate because of our rules. Like we've explicitly said that if there is a read operation, do not just go ahead and do it. Most recent is this, blah, blah, blah. So that's how these things, that's how we can essentially run our Shopify store from Claude. Additionally, what we have on the store are these commands. So you could technically have these commands set up where you, if every morning what you want to do is like just like you're going to your Shopify dashboard and looking at some of the analytics, what kind of traffic is coming, how many products were sold yesterday, and so on. So you can just come in on Claude and type in the audit. So daily audit is a command that is, think of it like a really long prompt that we've predefined, and we've provided it with whatever information we wanted, and it's coming back to us with all the information that we are asking for in this prompt. So it's running the audit query. You can right now, and because it's more SEO focused, it's not, you could essentially use this quite extensively. It's not completely SEO focused. There are some other info as well in this, but you could make it a very customer data focused. You could do any sort of customer analytics, make it a part of your daily routine, where you just going and asking every day, do this, and just see the results. It will keep asking for these. Okay, so it's now, if you notice, like it's showing me the daily audit. It shows my inventory health. It shows the Gymshark title with everything, like we did. Continue, like then it's showing me these orders. It's showing me meta field health. Again, this is just a test meta field that I was using here. And this is probably my favorite part here, because it tells me what are the top 3 things for me to fix. Clear the full payment backlog. Obviously, like there are 30 orders that are waiting to be fulfilled. That's one of the most important things. Reconcile inventory signal and revert to the Gymshark title suffix on product before it goes public facing. I did not ask it explicitly to give these. It was just able to make sense out of these. And we can sort of make this a priority for us if this makes sense for me to do this during the day. Now, we can extend this daily audit. If you want to put more things, you can just go ahead and update this daily audit prompt and do it. Yeah. So there are some more, and we can probably go over that in a separate session. Thank you.